Hi, I'm Richard from EnvisionSelfHealing.com, and in this blog I wanted to address a couple of questions I got from a colleague of mine who is practicing in Eastern Europe. She asked, number one, what's the difference between central vision and macular vision? Let me address that first. It's a simple answer. They really are the same thing. So the macula is here's the eyeball. Working our way from the front, we have, well, the eyelids, the cornea, the pupil, the lens. The lens projects light back onto the retina. And the retina is composed of photoreceptors and lots of other things, really. But the thing that does the work in the retina are the photoreceptors. And the outside periphery is composed of what are called rods. And the macula in the middle is composed of what are called cones. Cones are responsible for color vision and for fine detailed vision, sharp vision. So the central vision is essentially macular vision. It's what is sharp, has color. It's what makes up our clear view of the world. So macular vision and central vision are basically the same thing. Okay, that was her first question. So the second question was, how come we in the Envision Self-Healing and in the sort of alternative vision improvement world, say that sometimes we are overusing the macula, and sometimes we say we're underutilizing the macula? It's a complex question. It seems a little paradoxical, but I'm going to try and explain it. So, when we say we're overusing our macula, or central vision for that matter, it's really more like, how do we overuse our central vision versus our peripheral vision? So, in the modern world, we spend a lot of time looking at, here's my cell phone, cell phones, staring at our cell phones, staring at our computer screen, reading books, all of those things that require central vision, fine detailed central vision. But for the most part, what we're doing is reading information. We're reading information off our computer screen, we're reading information off our smartphones, or we're looking at media, we're watching a movie and taking in that visual information. That is all using central vision and essentially ignoring our periphery. So we start fixating here and ignoring the periphery. And our natural environment, the environment for which our eyes were designed, in the wild and the plains, we would be aware of our periphery almost all the time, because there'd be danger or something we're interested in our periphery. In the modern world, everything is just straight ahead, except when you cross the streets in San Francisco, you have to be aware of your periphery because people are pretty aggressive on the streets here. Well, true in New York too, I'm sure. So we end up focusing on our central vision too much, both in terms of how we spend our time looking at information, and in our world, we're just sort of focused straight ahead. So that's the overuse of central vision. And the main effect it has is we tire out, essentially, that portion of our vision, overuse it, overstress it, and we underutilize the periphery. So we're in underutilizing the periphery, we're sort of ignoring that use, and it's the old, use it or lose it thing. You start to get sort of a psychological tunnel vision first, and then maybe leading to loss of periphery. And the major effect that most people have is night blindness, because the periphery is also responsible for our night vision. So as we get older, we lose night vision. And partly we think that's because they're not using their periphery at a younger age. Okay, so that's the overutilization of central vision and the underutilization of peripheral vision. So that addresses the first issue of overusing our central vision. And well, the way we address it in our work is we put on You can look on our exercises tab, and we do put on 3 sizes of paper. We start with a small one, medium one, and a big one to block our central vision, and then we stimulate the periphery. You can look at our exercises to find those. Okay, so that addresses the first part of the question, which is overusing the central vision. The second part is underutilizing the macula, which seems like contradictory to what I just said. And my colleague was saying, well, we're reading all the time, aren't we using the macula? Aren't we using what's called shifting in the eye improvement world, or in the vision improvement world? It's called shifting, which is moving the macular vision essentially from fine detail to fine detail, which is what the macula was designed to do, look from detail to detail, which in our world is called shifting. So is it reading shifting? Well, actually it isn't. Reading, computer work, cell phone work, is all about grabbing that information. We're not really using the macula the way it was designed to be used. We're using it to grab information, just throw it into our brain, but we're not appreciating details. We're not moving the macula, and here we get a little more technical. Within the macula, there's a little pit called the fovea, which is the most sharp vision within the macula. The fovea is the thing that we actually move around from fine detail to fine detail. We're not using the fovea to look at small details. So, in a book, let's grab a book. Oh, this is my photography book. So, in a book, you're looking at, well, you might be looking at the picture, but you also might be reading the text, and you're grabbing that information. You're not looking at, say, a letter and moving your eye from detail to detail on that letter. You're trying to grab the information instead of moving your eye from detail to detail. That's the difference. So, find something that's got some detail. Oh, here's a tennis ball. So, here's a good example. An object, a tennis ball. What do you see? You see the word pen, right? That's a word, you're grabbing that piece of information. You're not looking at the letters of the P and the E and the N. You're not looking at the way the tennis ball has a little stripe, or how flecks of dirt on the tennis ball, or the amount of fuzz on the tennis ball. None of that is important to you. You just look at it and go, oh, tennis ball, pen. And that's all it registers with you. And that's underutilizing your macula, underutilizing the fovea within the macula. And anyway, so that's the concept of why we're underutilizing our macula to look at details, fine details, and at the same time we're overusing our central vision by focusing on information and media and ignoring our periphery. So that's the task, is you need to do both. You need to rest your central vision by stimulating the periphery, blocking it with papers, things like that we do, and stimulating the periphery. And you need to use your macula, your fovea, both of them essentially, to look at fine detail in a way that your eyes were designed, which is looking from small detail to small detail, appreciating the details in our world. I know those seem contradictory and maybe a little paradoxical. It's a bit like if you had carpal tunnel syndrome. You don't want to, you've now overused these muscles in order to get carpal tunnel syndrome. This is what you've done. Now it's like, well, you want to rest that motion. On the other hand, you don't want to completely immobilize your hand and say that's the solution. You want to be able to now use your hand the way it was designed to be used, with rotational movements and natural movements. So it's related to that. You want to get, so in some ways it's all about misusing the macula or central vision. Misusing it in terms of focusing so much on central vision to read and grab information and ignoring the periphery. So one solution we have, well, we have exercises to deal with stimulating the periphery, blocking the central vision. The other thing you can do in your lifestyle is get books on audio and listen to those instead of reading. Find ways to avoid, to lessen the amount of hours in the day you're spent focusing on information centrally. Books on tape, you can get programs that'll read the computer screen for you. If you're dealing with serious vision issues, you really need to start addressing this and using these kind of technologies to take the strain off your central vision. So anyway, hope that addresses those questions, and look at our website. And we have an ebook on there that addresses sort of using your natural vision the way it was designed to be used. It's called A Modern Day Guide to Improving Eyesight. And it's in a very similar vein to the way I'm talking now. It's like the eye was designed in a certain way and we're misusing it in our modern world. And here's ways we can get back to using it in a natural way. We have some other interesting things coming up. We're teaching a webinar on Skype right now, a very interesting process, and I think we're going to be developing some online courses, so stay tuned for that. So, hope you enjoyed this, and see for yourself.